Varsho. Taylor, thanks for coming by. Welcome to our program for this evening.
Thank you.
And let's talk about the start of your season. Another win last night, the Tiger girls. Your assessment of the first few games this year.
Yeah, I think, having 4 returners back this year, losing Danny, for this year. But, these girls have been with me since I've taken over the program, and it's kind of been, a progression. Coaches, came into my program and have left, new coaching staff. But I truly believe this year, we added Lindsey Johnson to our program this year, and Michaela Scheuer, who also played at a very high level outside of high school. So, our team this year is not very new for the starting lineup, but also some very new faces that have first varsity minutes, I should say, as juniors and some sophomores as well.
We quite often talk to area coaches about, boy, you lost 9 players or 11 players from last year and a lot of new faces on your ball club. What's that like? But for you as a coach, when the new faces are on your staff, what's that like for a coach to accommodate new staff members on your staff?
Yeah, I think just having different ideas, as a coach, I'm always learning. Coach Scheuer is on my staff, who's been a boys coach, been a girls coach. But Coach Scheuer and I are very much alike, and sometimes is a good thing, and sometimes, just hearing other perspectives. Lindsey Johnson came from Menominee, who has a great program, has a state appearance as well. And, at the end of the day, that's your big goal. So having that perspective as well, she was a assist rebounder, so not in that scoring category. She really had a knack for around the rim, but really incorporating that into our program has really been a huge asset for us this year.
Well, what do you think of the first few ball games for the Tigers this year?
Yeah, we're 2-1, and have a good start against Eau Claire North. I thought we handled their pressure well. We shot the ball well. Obviously, our second game against Neenah, we hung with the number 1 team in the state. Obviously, have number 1 recruit going to UConn on their ball club. So, I thought we did really well. Second half, there was about a 7-minute span, the last 7 minutes, where probably didn't play our best basketball. But I thought overall, collectively as a group, I'd love to have Neenah again and give them our best shot. So, obviously, coming off a win last night with Baraboo, they played 2-3 zone. I didn't shoot the ball very well, I guess you could say, but just made enough points to surpass them.
And you mentioned a lot of players back for your ball club this year. Tell us about those young ladies and where they fitted for you.
Yeah, I have a group of 5 seniors that, again, have stuck together, coming out. Kaylee Sharon, Rayla Schuler, Mayana Bossum, Emma Delaney, and Ashley Green-Korvitz. So it's great to see the work that we've put in on our off season from the summer to the fall. And you couldn't ask for a better group of girls that, not only the senior class, but collectively the 16 of us that are on that varsity squad, they get along outside and on the court. Last night, you'll see if you watched our game, the sharing of the basketball has been a big concept and something that we've been emphasizing in practice. It's not always about the points. As a point guard, sometimes, yes, you want to get to the rim, but you're also in charge of feeding, our shooters the ball. Who do we want to shoot the ball? Not everybody, at the varsity level gets the amount of shots that they probably want, but it also goes back to how much time you've put into, the game outside of the season or when the coach is asking you to be there. So, everybody's got their role. That's what makes basketball, for me, fun to coach, and trying to, meet their roles, but also having some of those crucial conversations with those kids. Because when you get in the workforce and those life skills, you're not going to maybe necessarily like every role you have. So, really teaching them those life skills but also winning basketball games.
We talked when Ayana signed her scholarship about her desire to have the basketball and be the person who can take a big shot. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, kids want to take shots, but not everybody wants to take the big shot, and she does. What does that pressure take off the rest of the ball club when she wants to fill that role?
Yeah, I think Ayana, I've worked with her since she's been in middle school. She's a neat kid, quiet leader, but also, really can shoot the ball. And I think, when we practice, we put those kids in those simulations of you're down by 2 points and you need a shot. How do you decipher that? The only way you can mock that up is to practice it. So, we have situation cards that we pull out every week, and it's been nice to kind of let the girls figure out, hey, what are we running? Not always from a coach. I might not have a timeout. So really putting them in those situations in practice. But I think Ayanna has taken on that role extremely well. She's making progress every day. She is a kid that we're probably one of the hardest on, going D2 scholarship kid. You want to get every ounce out of her that we can here with our time left. So, she probably, we watch film, we really dive deep into what we can get better in, but she's a kid that I think she's going to do great things at the next level.
You and I have talked the last couple of years about the offensive improvement shown by Ashley Grant-Corvitz, and I want to ask, not about Ashley, but have you seen now the last offseason going into this year, that same progression from Zeta Kolbeck? Because it looks like she's literally looking for her shots and making more shots coming into this season.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the confidence piece. When the coaches have confidence in kids, that's great. When your teammates have confidence in you as a shooter, that's great. But it also reflects back on you as an individual. If you don't have confidence in shooting the ball, that's when sometimes it doesn't always go your way, whether it's in games or practice. But you got to trust the process. You got to trust that the amount of shots you put in during the off season. And I'll be honest, my expectations for my girls in the off season, in the summer, and in the fall are very high. I set my standards high. I really want them in the gym as much time as we possibly can with them, because your 4 years goes by really fast, and before you know it, you're graduated and you're on to the next. So, Zeta and Ashley, I think of a kid like Ashley. She can't wait to get in the gym. She can't wait to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and shoot, whether it's with me, whether it's off the gun, whether it's by herself. Every day she's like, what time are you going to be here tomorrow morning? So, it is a long grind season, but it also, the progress that she has made only as a freshman coming into now a senior is just phenomenal. And my hope as a coach is someone takes a chance on her to play at the next level.
How much do you teach a young lady like Zeta about going to the basket? Now, as a coach, and you see your 5'4" point guard driving hard to the basket, that's got to be a bit unnerving. But is that something you talk with her about, and how to get to the basket rather than shoot the outside shot?
Yeah, we just actually talked about it today. Even if your shots aren't falling on the outside, there's so much more of the game you can do. You can drive to the hoop. You can post up. Sometimes, in college we always said, sometimes your little guards are sometimes your best post because nobody wants to defend that low. So when Zeta goes and posts up, or Ashley goes and posts up, or how to decipher whether it's a good shot versus an okay shot. Zeta's worked really hard on whether she should be passing or taking that shot herself. But she's really good off of 2 feet, and it's really all depends on the situation. Is the defense going to collapse, whether the shooter's in the corner? Are you passing to a shooter, or are you, driving all the way to the lane? So she's gotten a lot better at that. And as we all know, as a freshman, she came into our program and was our starter at that time. So, I feel like not having Danny this year has been a little bit of an adjustment for her, but also, different roles. And it is okay to score 20 points. It is okay to score that amount of points in a game. And don't be shocked when you see that on the scoreboard or in the scorebook. So sometimes I think it goes back to that confidence. Like, I want to be the best player on the floor every single night. That's the mentality. And I'm trying to instill that in some of them. Some of them have it, but just trying to keep instilling that every day.
Hey, let's bring in Larry Hazer for some questions and comments. Larry?
Thank you, Gene. You had Nina earlier in the season, top-ranked team, and you have some other pretty good teams on your schedule, too. Some teams, they shy away from scheduling some of those big games, but obviously you're not. Yeah,
I think, our conference will be good this year, but, when we get to the 16, 17 game or 17-team sectional, you want to play the best of the best. We are preparing for that first playoff game every single day, whether it's practice, whether it's a game, and we want to play Nina. We want to play the Kimberleys. We want to play the Hortonvilles, on our schedules. So we try to, we work really hard to try to get those teams on our schedule. We go and scrimmage Kakana, at the first thing of the year. So, We know that we're going to get those, whether it's in the crossover game or whether it's the first or second round of playoffs. But yeah, we want to play the best of the best. Why wouldn't you as a coach?
Yeah.
If you have a skilled level team like I think we do this year, I truly believe the only way you get better is learning, but also maybe it's not always winning either. Sometimes having a loss earlier in the season, you learn from that, you grow from it, and that's how you get better in practice.
How does the Valley Conference shape up, and how does that help you guys progress through the season?
Yeah, I think our conference is going to be tough again this year. Point and Wausau West will be, again, tough battles this year. Kelly Cray at Wausau West, big 6'2", 6'3" post. And also Point, they've got a great coach over there and doing really good things. We saw them all this summer, whether it was summer league, but it's going to be a battle. Every night you go in, whether you are playing a conference school, you are playing somebody from the Fox Valley or the Big Rivers, it's going to be a battle. We go to La Crosse Central on Friday, and I know they're down from this year, or from last year. But every game don't take for granted, because you never know what's going to happen, and teams can turn on at just the right time. So we just got to be playing good basketball. We got to have good practices the next several weeks, and hopefully we can make a run for the playoffs.
A little more pressure on you that you're favored to be number one in the conference, or?
I like the pressure. I do well under pressure, and I think even as a player, I always was hungry for that. I was an Ayanna Bossum, and just taking the last shot and running a play for you, and I think that speaks volumes. Running through the same shoes they ran through, playing in the same school that I played at. I know a little bit about basketball, and they are learning that as I'm in year 5 or 6 now. Being the head coach. So, again, I just think those life skills are a huge thing for the girls, and again, just keep getting better every practice.
Gene?
All right, Taylor, thanks for coming by. Once again, La Crosse Central on Friday night. Down there at La Crosse Central. Good luck in that one and throughout the season.
Thank you.
Marshfield Tiger girls basketball coach Taylor Varsho joining us on our high school girls basketball preview program.
After a couple years of a job that doesn't fit, it's time for more money, more opportunity. That is where Mid-State Technical College comes in. Would cooking be a good fit? Try on a career in welding. Perhaps the outdoors suits you better. Or maybe helping people is a better fit. No matter your path, we've got cutting-edge classes with field-trained professionals and better tuition options, making Mid-State the perfect fit.